Hello, everybody, and welcome to a cup of self-empowerment to trust, heal, and be thyself. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome a fellow Brit to our cuppa today, and it's the beautiful Jane Swanson who's joining us from the UK. And for those of you who don't know Jane, I'd like to give a little bit of background knowledge so you can feel into her beautiful wisdom and energy as much as I appreciate it as well. So Jane serves as a multidimensional angelic messenger for our beloved Gaia. She holds the divine mother frequencies and has been in the healing arts for many years as an energy healer and a practitioner for humanity and for the animal kingdom. She also has an extensive healing background as a nurse and training in inner child healing. As a humanitarian, she worked closely with the elemental and angelic realms as a grid keeper for GAIA-Sophia. She actively works with a divine council as a rose priestess and is a keeper of the white flame. Her mission is to embody the highest expression of this divine love and assist in the transmutation of all density and separation, and is an advocate for those who do not have a voice. Her dedication and passion is working with the animal kingdom and those suffering from trauma, utilizing her angelic presence and expertise to assist them to return to the qualities of divine love, peace, and joy. Wow. Welcome, Jane. I'm just really feeling into this beautiful divine love, peace, and joy. That's just beautiful. Oh, thank you for joining us today.
It's so lovely to be here, Kelly. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure, my absolute pleasure. The pleasure for us all of us who are watching us today. So Jane, I'd really like to embark on this conversation with you of how you've got all this beautiful wisdom, healing arts behind you. But how did you actually start trusting thyself when you started your own personal journey?
Yeah, I was sort of reflecting on this, and it's been a long journey and a long process, and it's definitely multi-layered.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think to start with, looking back, I think I've always had I was always aware of a strong guiding voice.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know what it was at the time, but obviously it was intuition, wasn't it? But I've always sort of been aware of that, and it helped me make some difficult decisions, in my early years. But then I think, you start learning to trust it more, don't you, rather than fighting against it. I think I in my earlier years would sort of hear it, and then the mental thoughts would come in, and that just doesn't make sense, it's not logical, but then I think over time it got easier to surrender and trust it.
How did you do you know how you actually thought, okay, now I can trust this? Was there any moments which happened where you said, okay, this keeps happening, this keeps coming through, I trust it, and then it unfolds? Was it kind of like that, or how would you like to explain it?
I think the first time I think I really just knew that I had to trust it was and I guess in some ways it was easier because it wasn't about me, it was about my daughter. So it was when she is a highly sensitive, intuitive soul herself, and she was really struggling at school in secondary, and her mental health just absolutely had spiraled. She was rock bottom. It was horrendous. I was working pretty much full time. I was in quite fast paced. I was working as a health visitor. And but I was just seeing her just crash in front of me. She wasn't able to go to school, and so all these I think for me it's all the societal constructs of what makes you successful, really challenged, and I just knew that I had to give up work. I knew that she had to come first, and that she needed me to advocate for her, and it wasn't all about the systems and of the education, and so I just made the decision to give up work and focus on her, and it was massive. And my husband at the time, he was like, well, how are we going to manage? And it's sort of like, we just will, because we've got to, but I think that was, in some ways that was easier because it was about my child.
And the mother instinct kicked in as well. But obviously, we are dependent on certain things in our life. We all have our mortgage to pay or our rent to pay. We all have bills to pay. We all have to get groceries in and stuff like that. And it is sometimes really, really tight and hard. And to make that decision, to say, okay, well, we will survive. I'm not quite sure how, but we're going to do it because the love for your daughter, and to see your own flesh and blood basically crumbling, that just rips out your heart, I'm sure. And you just
absolutely, and sort of everything, it's like from there, I think that was the beginning of my real spiritual journey. I think looking back, there was lots before that, but I think that was the moment where it really began, and it totally, all my identity was ripped from me. I'd been, I had a job title, and we were managing to pay all our bills, and outwardly, we were a success, ticking all the boxes, and suddenly my identity was like just taken from me. And I had a child that couldn't go to school. I was struggling to pay the bills, and we were in debt, and my marriage ended, so it was just like massive, and I was like, who am I?
It sounds really horrendous, and then for you to show up every day to hold that space for your daughter, it wasn't like you trying to keep it all together for yourself. You were probably on autopilot, so you could keep it together, so you could show up, and so you could help your daughter.
So the gift that the first, I won't lie, the first few months were so hard, because just didn't know where it was all going to end, and so worried about her. But then the gifts started coming through of like living a slower life, and I've always loved nature, I've always loved animals, and the one thing I used to do was get out every day with the dog. That was my like hour for me. And I started noticing things that I'd been too busy to notice before, and I think that was it. That was the moment when I totally knew that it might look a total mess on the outside, but we were going in the right direction, and that we were supported, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Absolutely makes perfect sense. So obviously would you say that, because obviously you needed to help your daughter heal, and for her to feel better in herself, and especially with her mental health. And I mean, thank goodness you had like the nursing behind you as well, and all that too. That must have been such and if you were in tune with the energy as well, to put the combination, that must have just been such a gift that you could put into action, your own personal tools as well. So how would you say, obviously that was the big trusting moment where you had to like trust and say, okay, I need to walk this path. No one's going to understand me. Everyone's going to think I've lost my mind, but this is what I got to do. And thank goodness that you did it, totally. Thank goodness that you did. And so how would you say that you started? Was it from this process that you started to heal yourself as well as your daughter at the same time?
Definitely. Definitely, because I think, that, like I say, that made me realise how much of, I'd been hiding behind a facade, like an armour almost.
We all do that.
We do, don't we?
We do.
Absolutely. So really, that was really shown to me. But having come from, a very traumatic childhood background, you know, very abusive.
Oh my goodness.
As a child, I think I'd constructed that probably even more so, you know,
Yeah.
because I wasn't brought up to love who I was. Do you know what I mean? It was all about other people. You have to be what other people want you to be, and all of that. And
People
you know, I was
pleasing, just to get that recognition and acknowledgement, and
people,
hopefully get that love kind of thing. Yeah.
absolutely. And you know, the fear of authority as well. And you know, so suddenly I'm in this situation where I'm like, you know, fighting against the system, the education system. And
I was going to say, yeah, you definitely ripped off that one to like fear of authority, put, you know, you took your daughter out of school and everything.
Yeah, so yeah, so I think that was so much healing. So, you know, it was tough, but it was, yeah, so much healing. And yeah, from then on, just so many layers really. And I think then when I consciously tapped into, probably didn't realize that that was what it was at the time. I think I thought, you know, it's just, I'm just battling through life, you know. I think when I really consciously started to tap into my own healing spiritually wise was probably about 2017.
Very similar to me then, yeah.
Really, yeah. It was just, I'd come out of a very toxic relationship, and I just knew I needed to just focus on me and just like no more distractions. It's time to focus on me.
Yeah. And
I went to Mind, Body and Spirit Fair. I think first thing I did was signed up for some meditation classes, and little did I know that the lady that ran them was going to be my Reiki master.
Oh wow!
So I went along to this meditation group, and the very first one, it was just so powerful. I could feel just the energy, and like I thought I was having a panic attack, all these blocks coming up.
Oh my goodness.
My throat was just pulsing. And
wow.
What on earth is happening here, you know? And I was just like, just so close to just running out of the room. Like,
oh no.
But now, obviously, you know, it's all that healing.
Yeah. And
I think around about that time, I went to Mind, Body and Spirit Fair, and I saw somebody doing Reiki, and I just knew. It was just, I just knew. It felt so familiar.
Yeah.
And I just knew that was what I was here to do, or part of what I was here to do.
Yeah. And
sort of it all happened as it does, doesn't it? All around about the same sort of time.
Yeah.
And my Reiki master, I signed up for a course for my Reiki one. Never even had a treatment from her because I had no money, so I was sort of like,
oh my goodness, that's well dressed to know, you know.
Yeah, so I was sort of like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I thought, you know, it's healing. The Reiki attunement is so healing in itself. You know, it brings up lots too, but very healing. So I had my Reiki attunement back in 2017, and that was the beginning. That was the beginning of like my real sort of healing journey, and you know, my path, I suppose, because even then I knew that that's what I wanted. I knew that was my purpose.
Wow. I mean, we have such a clear clarity on that as well when you know you're there, and that's basically just going hand in hand with the trust. You know, you just let that in, basically.
Incredible, isn't it? It's incredible.
And everything what was happening in that meditation was like keys, unlocking those bits, saying, come on, time to open up. Yeah.
It was absolutely. Yeah, it was so powerful. But it, you know, I suppose when I look back, you know, the same thing happened with my career path, because I knew I wanted to be a nurse from really, really young. So I suppose that was the beginning of the healing journey, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt,
Not that I realised that at the time, but you know, I was in hospital. I had my appendix out when I was 14, and I had this, you know, I came from a really, you know, very, very difficult home environment, very toxic and violent at times, and I just remember I was in hospital and I just felt safe. and I felt like I didn't want to leave. Like,
Oh,
oh, this is lovely, you know, I knew I was safe.
little 14-year-old self. Oh,
Yeah, and I saw these nurses, and that was it. It's like, that's what I'm going to do. And I made my mind up, and that was a huge healing moment for me, because up till that moment I was really quite lost, and I was just this very shy, very fearful, you know, young child, really.
yeah.
And then from that moment on, I had a purpose. And it's like I can cope with it all now because I know what I'm doing.
Oh, this is really like put on my heart. Oh, well, thank goodness you had such wonderful nurses who really like led you on your path of healing.
They
You know, thank
absolutely
goodness
did.
for that.
Yeah,
They were
yeah,
obviously doing what they were supposed to do, and were picking up the right people on the way as well, which is
yeah,
really great.
absolutely. Yeah,
Were you able to like help your daughter through with using the energy healing as well?
yeah, yeah. I was. I had to be very, as we always do, don't we? We have to be. It was. I think I didn't realise how intuitive I was, and it really helped me with my daughter, you know, because she's so sensitive.
Yeah, thank goodness she had a
Although
mummy like has got a mummy like you, thank goodness. Yeah.
she would completely shut down, and she wouldn't
Oh,
be able to communicate, you know, anything, and she would just completely shut down, and I would sort of lie with her, you know, for, you know, sort of sometimes like, you know, half an hour or more, and you know, just guide her, you know, but I had to be really careful because I couldn't push it, you know.
yeah.
So but at the same time she was a bit wary about the whole mum's doing some strange things, like she came
What's
down
mum
once.
up to? Mum's here and she's doing
What's
stuff with
mum
me.
doing?
What's
She's
she
doing
doing?
witchy stuff, yes. So I had to be really careful how I did it, you know, quite subtly, really. I've always been really passionate about aromatherapy and essential oils.
Oh,
So I
brilliant.
use oils. I used to give her a foot massage every night.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I know. I thought, oh, you know, could you do this for me too?
Yeah.
But it was because she had such problems sleeping. She just really struggled to sleep, you know, being
Yeah.
on.
I have a son who's like that with sleep.
Oh, really? It's really difficult, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So every night, massage the soles of her feet, you know, for the whole reflexology, but also with the essential oils, and that really helped.
Good.
But yeah, as she's got older, she's just graduated from uni now. She's doing amazingly. She's just graduated with a first. Yeah, she's got a job
Brilliant.
doing what she wants to do in the field that she wants to. So, you know, it just goes to show 4 years at school, and she's doing great.
Oh,
So,
that's amazing. Congratulations to you all on that. Oh,
thank you. But it just goes
oh,
to show, doesn't it, when we follow our intuition, it can be so lonely, can't it? But, you know,
yeah,
we know, don't we? We know as
we
mums.
do. And it just brings me so much joy that, you know, that she's stepped up and been able to just, oh, that's just
It's
really like from
amazing.
being like totally in that state where she couldn't even handle going to school to getting a
Absolutely.
first at university and having everything starting to unfold how she wants it to unfold.
Yeah,
That's
she's on her
beautiful.
path.
Oh, that's so good. That's so wonderful. Oh, wow. You must be a very proud mom as well
I
right
am
now.
so proud. Yeah, it was her graduation 2 weeks ago. Or probably was it 10 days or so ago, and it was just an
Yeah,
amazing moment. And
I
she's
can imagine.
such a special soul. You know, she doesn't realise it at the moment, but
She
yeah,
will.
she
And you
will.
know she will as
Universe
well.
right.
Yeah, she will. Oh, so would you say when would you say was the moment, because you know we spoke about the moment when, you know, you started, okay, I'm really gonna start trusting this is everything coming through, like your whole healing path as well. So when was the moment where you thought, okay, now is time for me to really stand in sovereignly with my healing arts, and, you know, to be me, Jane, unapologetically, and, you know, to share and shine my light? Was there kind of like, I mean, this is an
Yeah,
ongoing journey, we all know this, we all have to get our level
absolutely.
up a little bit, you know, give ourselves a bit of a kick every now and again, because we kind
Yeah.
of scurry and hide away every now and again into our little caves.
Yeah,
But
I think I've been doing that for a little while recently. So
yeah, I think a lot of us have been, so it's absolutely okay. I think it's really important that our viewers today know that that's also very, very normal. You know, and we spoke about this before, didn't we, Jane, that, you know, when you start walking this path, when you start unpacking yourself, basically, there's a lot what comes out in the wash, kind of, to say, isn't there?
Absolutely. Oh goodness me, so much. So
when was the point where you say, okay, right, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to let myself be seen, I'm going to be apologetically me, you know, regardless?
It was quite a powerful moment, and I sort of can see why it happened when it did now. Nothing ever unfolds the way we expect it to, does it, in this path? You sort of follow your higher guidance, and you have an idea of how it's going to look, and it never looks quite like that.
There's always a curveball, or like what our plan is may not always be the highest plan, so we kind of get pulled off that track, and you're like,
absolutely, yeah. So I was really feeling called, like the autumn of 2019, to step back from my sort of more 3D work. And I'd been through a lot, so I'd had to sell the family home to pay off all the debts after, so sold off the family home and paid off all my debts and everything, and went into a rental, and I was working then as a carer, and which I really enjoyed, but I was just getting this increasing nudge to step forward, as a healer. And I decided, I just knew I had to step back from the 3D work, and I knew it was just so powerful. It was just coming through so strong. You've got to do this. So that's when I decided to set up my business, Hearts and Paws Healing.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I love this name. Tell us a bit about Hearts and Paws so people can understand what it's like. It just makes me all happy, and when I hear this.
So Hearts and Paws Healing, it's evolved quite a bit from the early days, which was when I was focusing mainly on people, and I was, focusing on, sort of people with chronic illnesses and the elderly and dementia and things like that, because I'd seen how powerful Reiki was, just so powerful. And I thought, more people need access to this. More people need to know about it.
Thank you for actually sharing it with those who are most vulnerable, who probably don't get
incredible.
Don't get seen as much as they should, or
absolutely.
Unfortunately, I mean, everyone tries their very best, absolutely, but like dementia is also a very hard illness to work with as well. So
absolutely. But I had a couple of dementia clients at the time, and it really showed me how powerful the healing was. So to get people's voices back and their memories, absolutely incredible. So incredible. I was so honoured to be part of that. So originally my plan had been to set up offering mobile Reiki healing to people in the community. That was the plan when I stepped forth in January 2020, and thought, I'm going to invest this money in myself and and the business. And then lockdown happened in March. So obviously that didn't happen, but I now realise that was because a lot of it was about my own deeper healing journey, but also because my dogs, which is my other passion, were saying, Mum, that's because you're supposed to be working with us too. So that's when I did my animal healing diploma.
So it came from your own dogs that guided you in there.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. Wow. I started doing lots more with them, and I was in a position where I wanted to offer Reiki from the house, but I have got 3 rescue dogs. Well, only 2 now, because sadly I lost my darling Eric in January. So but he's still with me.
Of course he is. Yeah, I was just about to say he's still here.
I've had an amazing experience recently. He has guided me. Incredible.
Tell us about your experience. I'm sure people want to hear.
So he passed away in January, and I've just been guided to really. Eric was so badly traumatized when he came to me. He was completely shut down, never lived in a house before. He was just in a terrible state when he came to me, and so it was a baptism of fire. But I knew as soon as I saw his picture, it was a soul connection. It's like he's coming to me. But we healed each other. We healed each other. It's unconditional love, isn't it? Unconditional love for each other. But just 2 weeks ago, I was starting to think, am I on the right path? Maybe I should just go back to work full time and forget all this. You have those moments, don't you?
We all have those moments sometimes. Sometimes the inner critic sometimes creeps in and taps us on the shoulder, and wants to try and keep us safe when we know we have to listen to our soul whisperers and our calling. We know that as well, but it happens. And it's a reminder also to show us how far we actually have come.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's easy to forget, isn't it? It's so easy to forget how far we've come.
Definitely.
And I got a phone call one day, and it was from this lady, and she was saying, she was desperate. She said, I'm looking for some healing for my beloved rescue dog. And anyway, it turned out this dog was a Romanian Myrotic Shepherd, exactly the same breed as Eric.
Oh wow!
And so rare, anyway, to see them. They're such a rare breed.
Okay.
So to actually just less than 6 months after he passed, to be guided to this dog was just incredible and so precious. And so I've done a couple of healing sessions. Wow. So amazing. I had one session, I couldn't get close to him because he's so guarded, so I was literally just holding space. I'm doing a lot of work and study at the moment around the power of the present moment, and as we know, it's so powerful, isn't it? But even without consciously channeling the Reiki, just holding that space for an animal, in the present moment is so healing.
Wow.
And this dog had, bless him, he'd been through so much trauma, and then he'd had another trauma that had sort of triggered him to regress a lot.
Okay.
And I had this one session with him, and I wasn't able to put my hands on him. I just went and sat with him at his he led the session. The animals always lead the session at their pace, and I just held space and I channeled the energy, and every time I moved he growled like, okay, you've come far enough.
And his boundaries in as well.
He was absolutely establishing his boundaries. And the following day I got all these messages from his guardian, and she was like, I can't believe it. She said, he's like a puppy again. She said he's just so full of peace and joy. He was also terrified of water. She sent images of him just ploughing into the water on the beach.
My goodness.
So, and we know it's powerful, don't we? We know it's powerful, but every now and then you have a situation, don't you, and just think,
that reminds you with
why we're doing it.
Physical evidence for you to see with our physical eyes and to hear with our physical ears, not just declares, but literally just really to feel into it. And our humanness does need that. We need that still, and that's absolutely okay.
Definitely. And I think Spirit sends us gifts like that, doesn't it? when we need
Yeah,
it.
because obviously Spirit's picking up, oh, you know, she's looking for that door, but that door's shut. She's not escaping us, kind of thing. She's got work to do. Yeah,
totally. And so that was so powerful. And so Hearts and Paws is it's working with animals and their people, you know, healing animals and their people. And I'm becoming increasingly aware, like, how the connection between animals and their guardian is so powerful. And actually, when I was doing the healing session for this beautiful boy, his guardian was in the house, basically receiving a healing session. She came out and she said, oh my goodness, she said, I'm getting colours. And
wow,
that was so I didn't expect that, you know. I knew it healed from the point of view that it would help their connection, and I never really, it's like, wow, it's mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing.
So powerful, that, you know, connection, and how our animals come to us. They come to us to help us heal.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. I believe that too.
We think we're healing them and that we're there for them, and obviously we are. It's a soul contract, isn't it? It's a soul contract, but they do just as much, if not more.
I think so too, as well, because we've got since probably last summer, we've got 2 cats which keep like visiting us a lot. And it's really interesting the times when they come. And obviously my boys get really excited, but we know who they belong to. And I think they hang out in the whole neighborhood. They're kind of like,
cats love it, don't they?
It's but they're very
choice.
It's really they're very independent, aren't they? You know, they're not, they're a bit, I don't know what's the word is, you know, a dog is very loyal, a cat is probably loyal to itself. To put it politely, and you know, it's really interesting the times they come is when we feel it, when I know that in our household something needs doing, you know that even like if the boys just that needing that little bit of comfort, if I need that little bit of, you know, connection with an animal, it's really interesting.
That's beautiful.
And they, you know, because it's interesting because, you know, they do, obviously they still live with their family, which is great. They should do, you know, we won't be stealing anybody's cats here, but it's nice that they come and visit us and we appreciate it as well. So
that's so lovely, isn't it? That they tune into what's needed. And I think cats, all animals are multidimensional, but cats in particular, I think, aren't they? You know,
I think so too.
They're doing so many
they come in just
things.
to sometimes to clear, not clear, but more just to calm.
They carry so much for us, our animals. They hold so much for us. They're so healing.
I think they come along and transmute what we don't need at times.
They do transmute so much. Absolutely.
Oh wow. So what advice would you like to give our viewers today on their own personal journey of mastering thyself? What would you like to offer as a few of your golden nuggets of wisdom to our viewers today? What can you recommend? What would you like to share? What was, you know, for anyone who's like maybe new on this path, who's been doing this path for a while, anything which comes to you intuitively to mind?
I think just trust, you know, just keep going and trust in your inner guidance, because I think, you know, we've been so conditioned, haven't we, to listen to what's outside of us and to listen to, you know, the culture and society and other people, and not tune into our feelings. And, you know, and yet our feelings are absolutely the way forward, you know.
Definitely.
And, you know, I think for me it's absolutely, you know, listen to that guidance and trust, and no matter how difficult it may feel, because it usually does feel pretty difficult, doesn't it, when you're
It
tuning into your intuition, you know, and it often involves, you know, making difficult choices that, you know, go against the, you know, the norm or out of your comfort zone, but just trusting that you are supported, absolutely supported. We're always supported, and that's, you know, I've been shown that so many times now.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you've spoken about today, you know, is just a confirmation that you've done so much work and you've placed so much trust into something which people would not be able to understand, and to just fully show up and have that love. I mean, obviously it was kickstarted because of your daughter as well, but for you, you know, you've not had it easy at all, from what, you know, from what I've heard today, you know, from young age upwards. So for you to be able to embody such beautiful healing energies and to share these with those around you, you know, those who are near and far, those who are dear and new to you, and, you know, who you didn't know before, for example, and then to have that connection with the animal kingdom. I think that's really something incredibly special, and I really hope you do acknowledge that yourself, because it's really, really, really special. Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. It makes it all, yeah, it does make it all worthwhile. And I know a lot of us say this, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Do you know what I mean? It makes sense of all what I've been through, and
well, it's because you're seeing it from the bird's eye view as well, aren't you? You're seeing the bigger picture, the eagle-eye picture, and, you know, to have that always again and again confirmed to you and like shown to you by spirit, and, you know, and everything that you're channeling through, and which has obviously led you on to, you know, being this angelic messenger for Gaia and connecting to the grids. And, you know, I'm really interested about what you say about a keeper of the white flame.
Yeah, so that was where I was guided last year. That was a huge journey last year, being guided to the white flame. It was absolutely just beautiful. And again, it was, you know, following absolutely just trust and divine timing that the finances were provided at the time that I needed to do what I needed to do. And
yeah, that's amazing.
You know, and I joined this beautiful goddess circle, rose spiral circle, and it was such a profound journey. Over a year. We met every week and did so much grid work and so much healing work for the planet. So powerful. And then on the December solstice, the white flame, goddess Isis, anchored the white flame onto the planet, which was just so powerful. And to be part of that, and it's like what I came here to be part of. I know, you know, it's just, isn't it incredible?
Yeah.
You're sort of walking your 3D life, and then things like that are going on in the background.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about.
That's just wonderful.
Yeah, so the divine feminine, you know, as you know.
And she's one powerful goddess.
Oh,
I work very closely with her, so I know exactly what you mean there. Yeah.
Oh, I'm absolutely just.
And she's, you know, we can all call on these angelic beings and goddess.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, absolutely.
They, you know, they respect our free will, and if we don't ask for intervention, if we don't ask for their support, then they're not going to come. But they are available to each and everybody.
Absolutely.
They're here for everybody.
All of the time.
Yeah, and, totally.
You know, even more now than ever, isn't it? You know, I think since that December solstice in particular, and particularly since the solstices, you know, the summer solstice.
Yeah.
The divine feminine energies are just getting more and more powerful, aren't they?
And with Isis, especially good for, you know, really reclaiming that sovereignty, really calling back your power, really like embodying that, you know, I'm going to be a leader, I'm going to be sovereign, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to help the children, I'm going to help the animals, I'm going to really lead myself forward. That, as you said, that divine feminine, and she's strong. She's got this really powerful, you know, but badass kind of, you know, she's not going to take any rubbish.
No, totally.
But she, you know, got that sovereignty and that elegance, how she does it with grace. And yeah,
it's like the wholeness of the divine feminine, isn't it? The strength and the power, as well as the gentleness and the balance.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's the full facet of it all, I feel, completely.
Yeah, so and I really feel a whole new healing energy, like it's like the healing's changing, isn't it?
Yeah,
changing. And like working with the white flame, you know, it's like really brought in the divine feminine so strongly, you know, and just calling in that beautiful white flame energy is it's amazing.
I think it's great. I think it's amazing that I think it's beautiful that you've got this. I think it's fantastic. I really do. Oh, so how can people reach out to you, Jane? You've shared so much wisdom with us today. You've been really raw with us. You've, you know, really been very open with your whole experiences. And, you know, I really appreciate that. And I'm sure everyone watching this today equally does too, because, you know, you're showing up here completely authentic. And, you know, you've said how hard, and it has been difficult. And you know, you from nature, from, you know, from being small, you were that shy girl, and now you're stepping out and being this beautiful woman, sharing all this beautiful love, healing, compassion, and helping the planet as well as the animals as well. It's just great. So for those who are really resonating with you, I really like them to be able to reach out to you personally. So what's the best way to contact you, Jane?
So my probably through my website, really, which is www.heartsandpawshealing.co.uk.
Okay, brilliant.
So yeah, that's probably the easiest way to connect.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, I offer healing sessions for people and their animals.
Brilliant. Oh, that's so special. Well, thank you so much for having a couple with us today, for journeying with us today, for being here and being present and shining and sharing your light with us and your story.
An absolute pleasure, Kelly. Thank you so much.
My absolute pleasure. You know, really, thank you for taking the time. We know how busy life is and how intense the energies are at times. So I really would like to say we truly appreciate, you know, you being with us today. And
thank you. So lovely to connect with you again.
Oh, my pleasure. And everyone else, we're wishing you a beautiful start to your day or afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you for taking the time for thyself and having a cup of self-empowerment with Jane and I today. And we hope to see you very, very soon. Until then, take care and keep healthy and keep smiling and take plenty of rest, because I think we all need a lot of rest at the moment. Replenish. Bye-bye.